Most people think it takes a tremendous amount of money to invest in real estate, like just millions of dollars. It's, oh, someday I want to do that.
I built a $15 million rental portfolio, and I have spent exactly zero of my own dollars doing it.
Having no money is not the same as being broke. Broke is a condition. And so how do we fix that condition? How do you get a mindset that isn't broke? Hey, how much money does it actually take to invest in real estate? My name is Brandon Turner. I'm going to break it all down for you today here with my buddy Cam Cathcart.
Yes, cannot wait.
It's going to be a good time, man. So this question, I decided to make a YouTube video on this because most people think it takes a tremendous amount of money to invest in real estate, like just millions of dollars. It's, oh, someday I want to do that. Everybody says someday they want to invest in real estate, but they believe in their head it takes a ridiculous amount of time. But both of us started with very, very little money.
I built a $15 million rental portfolio, and I have spent exactly zero of my own dollars doing it. So you can definitely do it. Now, granted, the market is definitely different from 2020 and 2021 when I was doing that. But
yes. Yeah, the market's changed, but the idea and the strategies we're going to talk about today, they have not really changed that much. I mean, the stuff that I was doing 15 years ago, 17 years ago when I first got into real estate is still the stuff that I'm doing today. I mean, I'm doing it at a much larger scale today, and I'll talk about partnerships and whatever, but I've grown to $1 billion portfolio, 13,000 units, and it's all off the same strategy I did on my very first deal. So I'll talk about that today.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll do $30 to $40 million this year, like in flipping, and none of that will be my own money.
Yeah,
now it'll be recycled money, but not my own money.
And we'll talk about what that means, recycled money, here in a little bit. So stay tuned for that. If you find this video helpful, just do me a quick favor. Hit the little like button below the video. It tells the internet gods that this is good content. And subscribe to our channel if you care about building wealth, specifically through real estate, without losing your soul. So again, like I said earlier, Cam and I, we are both real estate investors. We're both multimillionaires, and we are the hosts of the Better Life podcast. This is not a podcast. This is just a video that we want to teach you something. So grab a pen, grab some paper, take some notes. First point I want to make is this. I wrote this. It does take a ton of money. It takes a ton of money to buy real estate, but that money does not have to be your own. And so I think getting that concept through our heads is super important. Is it doesn't have to be your money. Money comes from somewhere. But to buy real estate, it's not like you're just writing a check from your checking account for $100,000 to buy a house.
Yes, and I do get it where people struggle with that. Because when I was first starting, I'd see people buying houses all the time. I'm like, I can never be a real estate investor because I have $12 in my bank account right now. Like, it's just not going to happen.
You were a pastor.
Yes.
You were broke.
Broke is a joke.
Yes.
And I did not understand it until I started learning that it doesn't have to be my money.
It doesn't have to be your money. It does have to come from somewhere. So understanding money is more important than having money. I think that's a good point that we should probably pop that text on the screen, right? Understanding money is more important than having money when it comes to investing in real estate, in business. In a related point here, I wrote down here is having no money is not the same as being broke. And this is something I love to talk about. Being broke is a mindset. Being broke is a way of functioning with your money, but having no money is a temporary problem. Like lots of us, I mean, I had no money when I got started. You had no money when you got started. Lots of people have no money. I mean, technically every single human has no money at some point in their life when we're all young and broke.
At least 5 times a year I have no money. We've put it out into properties.
Exactly. You put it in the money. So having no money is not the same as being broke. Broke is a condition. And so how do we fix that condition? How do you get a mindset that isn't broke? It's called financial literacy. Can you explain financial literacy, Cam Cathcart?
Yeah, financial literacy is just knowing how money works, where it's coming from and where it's going, especially like in the real estate game, knowing what private money lenders are, hard money lenders are, bank money is, lines of credits, home equity lines of credits. Like learning that aspect for real estate investors, it's going to change the game for you. And a lot of people just don't take the time to learn that there's so many different strategies, even like creative financing, which is something I don't use a ton, but that's another way to like become financially literate and learning what creative finance strategies are. Yeah,
and sometimes you can't like just learn it by doing it too. Like I would encourage people this. So if you want to get into real estate and you have no money, again, some of you have a lot of money, but no matter how much, actually this is a good point I should make too. No matter how much money you have, you will never have enough money to buy all the real estate you want. Like let's say you have $1 million in the bank, great. You're just naturally going to want to buy more real estate than you could have. You'd use the $1 million and then you'd be out. And you're like, well, I got to figure it out. So we all have to learn creative strategy. We all have to be financially savvy and get financial literacy no matter where you find yourself. And so, again, a couple resources to get you started there. The book Rich Dad Poor Dad is phenomenal. I've interviewed 500 plus investors over the last decade on real estate podcasts, and 90+% have named that book as the book that got them like understanding money and got them excited about it. So if you've not yet read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'd recommend that one. The Richest Man in Babylon is another great one having to do with financial literacy. And then if you want to know more about just creative finance, which we'll talk about the strategies here in just a minute, but I wrote a book called The Book on Investing in Real Estate with No and Low Money Down. It's just like a dozen different strategies that you can do to buy real estate with no money. But we'll just talk about it right now, so you don't even need to read the book. You can just hear it here.
Yes, love it.
All right, one more point before we go into the actual strategies, and that is this. There are 3 things needed to buy a real estate deal. You have to have knowledge of what you're doing. You have to understand it. You have to have what I call hustle or action. Somebody's got to do the work. You got to actually make the offers, analyze the deals. And the third thing you have to have is money. There has to be money. So here's what I say. Pick 2. If you do not have money, get the hustle and get the knowledge. If you have the hustle and knowledge, you do not need money of your own. You will find other people with the money. But if you have the money, if you have money but no knowledge and no hustle, you're going to lose your money. There's a good chance you're going to get taken advantage of. So if you have money, gain knowledge, and then somebody else can do the action. And so this is the beautiful part of our real estate is, I have 2,500 lenders or partners who have worked with me to buy real estate. They have money. I have the knowledge and the hustle. And it makes a beautiful partnership. You do the same thing with your flipping.
Do the same thing with our flipping, where we are the people that are operating the deals. We are the people that are finding the deals, and we're using other people to fund the deals, and they get a cut of it. There's somebody that's in deal flow right now who has no money, but he has the hustle and the knowledge, and then he's partnered with a guy who has the knowledge and the money, and so he's going out finding the deals, rehabbing the deals, and he's got unlimited bankroll from this guy because the guy can look at the deals too and say, this is good or this is not good, and so it's a beautiful partnership there. And so I think everybody, they use money as a hindrance of getting into real estate, and every single person can find money to get into real estate. I am confident of that.
I agree, 100%. Well, let's get into a few, like 5, 6 of the strategies that we use to invest in real estate without using a lot of our own money, because I know most of you don't have an unlimited source. So number 1, you actually mentioned it just now, partnerships. Let's start with that one. Partnerships are how I built my entire portfolio. I use it over and over and over. Partnerships are beautiful because, again, if you have the knowledge and you have the hustle, somebody else can bring the money and you can make it work.
Yeah. So a lot of times what I see works best with partnerships is with private money lenders. And a private money lender is just somebody that's kind of an arm's length from you. It's a family, it's a family friend, it's a friend of a friend that has money. You're going to essentially bring a deal to them and ask them to fund that deal. And you're going to give them either a percentage, a return on their money. Typically, I offer around 10 to 12%. Or you're going to go into a partnership with them where you are bringing the knowledge and the hustle, they're bringing the money, and you're going to split the profits on that deal 50-50, 70-30, whatever you guys come up with. But I think it's such a great strategy for a lot of people that are just starting to invest in real estate is by finding somebody to partner with you that has the money. And the one thing I would say is when you're just starting, do not be greedy because having half of the watermelon is a lot better than a whole grape.
That's good, man. So how does somebody find, a lot of people might be wondering, how do I find a partner? Like somebody who's going to want to give, I'm brand new. I don't know what I'm doing. How am I going to find a partner?
Yes. So the first thing that I would say is like, and this is my go-to answer with everything, is just networking and reaching out to people, getting in rooms with people that are wealthy. So networking. But another thing that I did, and granted, I have a network of people that I know that are wealthy. But when I first started, I sat down and I just made a list of everybody in my phone that I thought had some money. And I started reaching out to them. I put together a business plan. And I said, here's what I'm doing. I'm buying houses. Here's how I'm analyzing the deals, buying them at 75% of the ARV minus repairs and holding costs. And I'm going to fix them up and I'm going to sell them for a profit, or I'm going to keep them. I'm going to refinance out of them and I'm going to get you your money back. Here's what you get. Here's how you can be confident that your money is good with me. And so I put together a business plan and I sat and I met with probably 50 investors when I first started.
Oh, wow.
And
I did not know that.
Yeah. And a lot of them said no.
Yep.
A lot of them said no, but some of them said yes. And so when I first started, I got 3 or 4 investors that said, hey, yeah, if you find the right deal, we'd love to lend to you. And I want to say one other thing on that. And sorry, I'm talking a lot, but I think this is important. When I first started, I thought I have to go after these multi-millionaires. And over time, I've realized that's actually not my primary lender is not that. It's the friend that sold a house and made a couple $100,000 and it's just sitting in the bank and it's not being put to work. It's the average guy that's making $75,000 a year that has inherited a couple $100,000 and wants to put that to work. It's not typically the person that sold a business for $10 million.
That's a really good point. All right, number 2, house hacking. So I brought this up because this is how I started in real estate. Did you house hack?
I never house hacked.
Okay, so I house hacked multiple times. I'm even house hacking right now here in Maui in a multi-million-dollar house. House hacking is where you buy a property that has an extra unit. Now, maybe it's a bedroom that you can rent out, but usually it's like a duplex or a triplex. You buy that, you live in one unit, you rent the other ones out. The beauty of that is there's a loan called an FHA loan. An FHA loan allows you to pay just 3.5% down payment, and you can get the entire property. So if you find the right small multifamily, like a duplex, you can live in half it, rent the other half out. I've done that over and over and over. And now you can live for free. And when you can live for free because you got the other unit paying your entire mortgage, you free up your time to be able to buy more real estate deals, find better options. And house hacking has been great.
Yeah. Another strategy that I love for a lot of people, because we've talked about private money, a little bit about a hard money, or we haven't talked about it, but a hard money lender is typically an institution that's going to give you money for a short period of time, and it's going to be really expensive. It's typically 12 to 15%.
Yeah, I have a hard money company, and we're typically 12 to 15%. Sometimes you go as low as like 7%, but like you got to be pretty experienced for that. But it's just you work that into your math, and then it could work out. So,
but one thing that I love with private money and hard money is combining the two, because a lot of people might be watching this and saying, well, I don't have a family member or a friend of a friend that's going to write me a $200,000 check. Yeah, you might not, but you probably know a hard money lender. There's a hard money lender out there that's going to write you a $150,000 check.
YourLifeRef.com.
Exactly. And you might have a friend of a friend or a family member that's going to write you a $50,000 check. And then by combining the two, you can still get into a deal without any of your own money.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm a big fan of combining these strategies together. And another strategy I like that we'll talk about is I call the flip one, rent one. I probably need a better word than that, but it's probably a lot of what you do, which is where you flip houses. Y'all know what flipping houses is, right? You buy a house, fix it up, make it look way better, sell it for more money. But the beauty of that is you build a machine that can buy these houses, rehab them. And again, the same strategies for money, hard money, private money, they still work in this way. So you buy one and then you fix it up, you sell it, and then you take the profit and you then buy a rental with that profit. And you flip one, and then you hold one, or you rent one. You flip one, you rent one. And so that can be a good way to build up a portfolio. And you can kind of cherry pick the best rentals, keep those, and then the ones that you want to flip, you flip.
And then the last strategy, and I guess this isn't typically, this is actually the action of it, not going and finding money, but it is the BRRRR method, which is incredible, which you're using private money, hard money, to go buy a property. And you're buying it at 70 to 75% of the value, and you're fixing it up, and then you're putting a tenant in there, and then you're taking it to a bank. The bank is going to go do an appraisal on it. They're going to say, hey, we're going to give you 75% LTV, and you're going to be able to get a bank loan on it, take that money, pay back your private lender or your hard money lender, and you're going to own a property without any money out of your own pocket. That is how I've built my $15 million rental portfolio. And I will say for a lot of people, it's tough to do that unless you use creative strategies, especially on the coasts. But the Midwest BRRRR is still a thing, and you can still do it all day long. Yeah,
I love the BRRRR strategy. There's a great book on that also. It's called BRRRR. It's by a good friend of ours, David Green. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. You can get it at Amazon. Just look for BRRRR, BRRRR by David Green with an E at the end. All right. So those are some of the strategies. Again, there's a lot more out there. Again, I wrote a book with a dozen of them on there. There's things like seller financing or sub-2 or lease options, wholesaling. Those are all different ways to invest in real estate without a lot of money. But I want to move over to some actionable steps, and we'll close out this video in just a minute. I'm going to give you 6 quick steps on what you can do next. Number 1, live on a budget and start saving money. Like, that's such an easy thing, but majority of people don't live on a budget. They just spend what they make, and they at the end of the month they're like, oh, I ran out of money, or hey, I ran out of a month. Either way, they're struggling every single time. And so simple thing you can do, get a budget, start living on it.
Yeah. Second thing that I would say, especially for somebody that doesn't have a private money lender or can't go into like a partnership with a private money lender, you have to work on your credit score. Because if you go to a bank and ask them to lend on a property, or you go to a hard money lender and ask them to lend on a property, they are going to check your credit. And if you do not have good credit, they are not going to lend to you. So work on your credit score.
Remember earlier I said that having no money is not the same as being broke. Credit scores, yes, there are ways to invest in real estate without good credit. That's fine. But credit scores are an indication of your financial savviness, of your financial literacy, and about how you feel about money. Now, in rare cases, it's a medical debt. It was just a crazy experience and you lost a bunch. I get that. That happens. Let's be honest, though, majority of the time, it's because you just didn't pay your bills, because you didn't have enough money, because you're not financially literate enough to be able to pay your money. So credit scores are an indication. They are a lag measure. They are a telling sign of how good you are with money. So you get a good credit score, not because it's going to get you a loan, even though it could. Get a good credit score because it shows you that you are good at money. So credit score. Number 3. Gain rare and valuable skills so you can increase your income.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think that's super important because a lot of people, especially when it comes to real estate, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And if you get really good at knowing what you're doing in real estate, the money is going to follow all of the time.
Yeah, there are skills out there like knowing how to hammer, like knowing it's a valuable skill. I mean, knowing how to build something, but it's not super rare. Right? A lot of people know how to hit a hammer and build something. Therefore, because it's not rare, it's not worth much. You don't make $1,000 an hour building a house, like nailing a house. But you know what you do make $1,000 an hour on is knowing how to supervise a brand new construction house. Like if you're the investor who knows how to put together an entire new build and you work, 50 hours on a project and you make $50,000, you just made $1,000 an hour. And that's a real thing. So there are skills that are worth $5 an hour, skills that are worth 10, 20, 50. One of the reasons Cam and I both love real estate so much is because there are a lot of rare and valuable skills to be gained when you get good at real estate. Analyzing deals, making offers, marketing, networking, those are all $1,000 an hour jobs.
I would say for me, one of the reasons that we were able to grow, my rare and valuable skill was I learned how to find deals. And I tell people all the time, if you can learn how to find deals, the money's going to follow you. Because if I came to Brandon and I said, hey, Brandon, I have a house that I can flip and sell for $500,000 and it needs about $60,000 to get it there, and I can buy it at $275,000 and I can show him the numbers of how it gets there. And I tell Brandon, hey, you're going to get a 30% profit split, or I'm going to pay you 12 or 15% on this. He's going to say yes if I show him the numbers. But that's because I got really good at finding deals and I can go find deals like that. And so that's my rare and valuable skill is I learned how to find deals.
That's true. And the beauty of that is, like, how do you learn how to swing a hammer? You either find somebody who swings a hammer and they show you, or you go out there and start swinging a lot of hammers the wrong way and you figure out the right way, or you go read a book or watch a YouTube video on it. Same thing with rare and valuable skills. Like, how do you learn to flip a burger? Somebody showed you how to flip the burger. How do you learn how to analyze a deal? Somebody shows you how to analyze a deal. You watch a YouTube video on it. So in other words, you can learn. I'm just trying to make you realize, like, you can learn all these skills for free on the internet. It's wild. So people spend their time learning how to I'm going to make fun of an industry here, but they spend their time learning how to be really good at Fortnite. That's a very, very unvaluable skill. Invaluable. Like, it's
unless
not worth
you're
anything.
Ninja guy
Unless
who's
you're
worth like
really,
150
really
million.
Yeah. But most of us, you're not making any money off it. So why not spend a little more time developing rare and valuable skills rather than common and cheap skills?
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make there. Next one is something you're really good at. Next, kind of a next step for people is to build relationships with existing local investors. Why is that important?
I think that for me, it was the most important because I learned how to raise money. I learned how to have conversations. I think from a meetup that I went to, I met kind of my mentor in the industry. And I was telling him that, hey, this was at the very beginning when I started. I'm having all these meetings with people that are potential investors, and they all keep saying no. Like, there was a really great family friend, potentially family member, that I asked for money, and he looked at me and he said, never ask again. And and so, and he gave me advice, and this wouldn't have came without going to a meetup and meeting him, but it changed the game for me. And he said, Cameron, when you go into those meetings, you have to sit there with confidence and know that you are offering a really, really great opportunity for them. You have a valuable asset that's backing it up, and you're giving them an incredible interest rate. And so, and that changed for me because I was walking into these meetings feeling like I was almost asking for a handout, or a favor. And I started going into these meetings with a little bit of pride and confidence of like, I'm offering a really, really great return for you with a really great asset backing it up. And immediately, just because of that, my mindset shifted. And when I was having those conversations, I was doing it from a place of, hey, I don't really need you. This is an opportunity for you. And people started giving me money. By the end of the conversations, they were almost begging me to let them invest.
Yeah, I love that. Beautiful. Number 5, become the smartest real estate investor in your market. This is something that I think expertise is such a superpower that's undervalued, like becoming the best. Like not a mediocre, not learning. Most people want to learn just enough to get by. I want to learn just enough how to flip houses to flip a house and make some money, rather than I want to be the best flipper in my market. And again, you can gain that for free on the internet, or you might join a course maybe and pay a little bit, or read a book and pay $20 for a book. Either way, you can gain the knowledge, and you gain knowledge by reading, and you gain experience by doing. So get out there and just seek to be the best. Don't settle until you're number one.
Love it.
Yeah. Number 6, last one. And you brought this up, and I'm going to say it again, though, because it's so important. Focus on finding the skill of finding deals. If you can analyze, get leads and analyze them correctly, those 2 skill sets, which is what it takes to find great deals, is you have to get leads and know how to analyze them. And there's some negotiation and all that in there as well. That is the secret today that makes everything else easier. You can get money, you'll get cash flow, you'll get financial freedom, all of that if you focus on that rare and valuable skill of getting good deals across the plate.
Can I add a bonus?
Please.
I think this is important because I had a conversation this morning about it, but do what you say you're going to do.
Always.
If you tell an investor that they're going to get a return, give them their return. I talked to a friend today who's losing money on a deal, but he offered his investors a minimum payment on that deal. And even though he's losing quite a bit of money, he's like, I'm still going to repay him because I told them that I would. And I told him that is going to pay such huge dividends down the road. So if you are using private money, hard money, bank money, do what you say you're going to do every single time, and that will pay off in ways that you can't even imagine.
So true. Hey, if this video was helpful, click the little like button and subscribe for more content on building wealth without losing your soul. We appreciate you. We love you. Have a great day.